Okay, it looks like I'm live. Come on. All right, we are live for the first time in a long time. We're streaming on YouTube, D Live. Hello, D Live. It's been a long time, and of course Trovo for the first time. I used to do these streams pretty regularly, twice a week, where basically I'd be doing a workout and doing a sort of a Q&A type thing with newer lifters. If you got questions about plateauing, nutrition, supplementation, strength progression, injuries, rehab, prehab, all of it. If you got questions related to any of these topics, I will try to answer them as best as possible. If today goes pretty well, I might start doing these maybe once a week again. Do these more regularly. So, let's see what we got so far. We got a couple people watching. How's everyone doing? How you doing there, Sunbear? Alright, so I announced this a little over a week in advance, so it might take a minute or two for people to actually get into the chat. I don't really have any common questions prepared for me to just start generically hammering out. But yeah, so this is our live stream, Q&A. Bring some Q's and I'll give you some A's. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my training in the meantime until people start actually filing in. So I've plateaued in a lot of ways. I kind of stopped doing strength progression once I moved out onto the farm. There's a lot of different factors as to why I'm not able to train the same way as I did back in the gym. The main one being the fact that I don't have a flat ground to work with. So basically, the only way for me to get a consistent range of motion out of a deadlift is to do it in a power rack or something where the weight is supported, because everything out here is sand, and basically every rep turns into a deficit deadlift. So my lifts are all over the place right now. But yeah, just kind of working with it. What's up, Mark? On D Live, we got Lord Cottenberg from Discord. What's up, Daily Mock? How's everyone doing? So, like the title implies, this is a Q&A. So, anyone has any questions related to strength training, general fitness stuff, diet, nutrition, supplementation, losing weight, gaining weight, getting a bigger whatever press or deadlift or squat. If you got questions, I've got your answers. I've been a strength coach now for about 7 years now, surprisingly. I'm an Army veteran. I basically had a career with the Army as a contractor when I got out. Did that for a long time. And I've been basically just working for myself for the past 7 years. So, good to see you, Mark. It's been a very long time. The D-Live crowd filing in. Yeah, it's been a real long time. Since, I think it was right after the big incident on D-Live that will go unnamed. That, resulted in almost everyone getting banned that was worth anything on the platform. So, I kind of followed that exodus off, but it looks like D-Live is kind of coming around. Coming back to life a little bit. All right, we got our first question from Mark Boggs. So he says, I'm 46. Should I take TRT? Does Tonkat Ali increase testosterone? At 46 years old, I would consider doing TRT. It's something that's definitely on the horizon for me. Being in my late 30s, 37 years old, so thanks for the host there, Slumbear. 0 viewers. Hell yeah. Well, whatever. All your subs will see it. But yeah, at your age, I would get a baseline from a doctor, maybe see what your testosterone levels are at. And if they're looking, like they're at an unsatisfactory level, maybe somewhere in the 500s or 400s or 600s, I would go ahead and start doing TRT. I fully plan on doing it once my testosterone really starts dropping off, which I'm still waiting on. But once it happens, I definitely plan on doing TRT as well. As far as natural supplementation, I've never heard of Tongkat Ali, but there's a lot of supplements that basically just increase blood flow, and some of them might have a minor impact on your hormones. But generally, those natural testosterone boosters don't really do a whole lot. You're not really going to notice anything in the gym, at least. I think I may have talked to you about this briefly before, but I did mention one of the only effects you're going to have is your libido. Blood flow, exactly. Your libido will go through the roof. You're going to wake up like you used to wake up like a teenager. I'll just say it like that. But that's pretty much all those test boosters are good for, in my opinion, is like if you need it for like a sexual performance kind of thing. But I mean, even if you look at studies with all these different like maca root and all this stuff, all these testosterone boosting supplements, none of them really have a huge effect on the amount of testosterone you have. So you'll get some good effects from it, but I don't think you're going to see anything crazy in the gym. Yeah, pretty much what Sun Bear and Mark are saying there. You're going to have a lot of increased blood flow. Parts of you are going to be harder than usual. Oh, God. Well, this isn't X-Tag, so I got to keep it nice and vague. Replacement T is dangerous. I have not heard that. I know a lot of people that are on replacement. Pretty much anyone you watch on TV that's a celebrity or a news anchor or whatever, and they're in their 60s and 70s and they're still really with it and cognizant, part of that is due to taking care of yourself, getting a good diet and keeping up with exercise. But a lot of those people are taking hormone replacement. Joe Rogan is a really good example of someone who kind of is open about his hormone replacement. But you can look at people like Chris Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo, and I mean, anybody who's got money is going to be taking TRT. So it's not dangerous as long as the dosage is correct, right? Like if you start taking T, as like an actual, I don't know if I could say this hot word, so I'm going to avoid it, but hormone cycle that younger people tend to do in high amounts. In that way, it can be dangerous because you're not overdosing, but you're definitely taking in a lot more than you need. And when you consistently do that for a long time, you're going to start experiencing hair loss. You're going to age faster. You're going to have a weaker heart. So, like, overdoing it is bad. But if you need it for replacement, like if it's an age-related thing, at least according to what I've read, I haven't seen anything bad. If you have seen something bad there, Jupiter, and want to send it my way on Discord or wherever, I'd be interested in reading that, but I've not heard that. Testosterone keeps the prostate cancer away. Yeah, I'm not 100% savvy on that one. I have not actually read into that, so I'm not really going to comment, but I could imagine that it would keep prostate cancer at bay, possibly testicular cancer, and sort of like hormone related cancers, maybe a thyroid cancer or something like that. I'm talking off the top of my head. I'm not going off of studies. It's just my knowledge of testosterone. I would imagine it would have those effects, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, maybe replacement is not properly managed, like taking it if hormone levels are unknown. Exactly. If you don't know your hormone levels, and even if you start doing a replacement dose and you really don't need it, like if you're at the upper end of your testosterone threshold and you start supplementing it, it could be a bad thing. But generally, unless you're doing like 500 milligrams or you're doing like a whole gram a week, like an actual cycle, it's not really gonna have anything negative, I don't believe. So, as a single man, I have a more than enough blood flow, but apparently Tonkat Ali actually works a bit. Yeah, I mean, all of those blood flow supplements, they're not bad. I'm not going to tell you not to take them. I'm just telling you, don't expect to look like a pro bodybuilder or like what they market in those fitness magazines when they show you a natural testosterone supplement and then they show you a model that's clearly on growth hormone and a bunch of other stuff. Like it's not going to have that profound of an effect, but yeah, you're not really going to notice too much in the gains department in the gym. You might end up with more motivation when you go to the gym, which will make you push harder and make more gains, but I don't think that it's going to result in a big enough boost to really notice anything. Aside from what I said, certain parts of you hardening up. Prostate cancer doctor said for me to lift weights, push yourself towards tire, more sex to raise, tee up. Yeah, sex is very good for your testosterone. Absolutely. There's actually some pretty interesting studies about people looking at, illicit images prior to working out, and it actually has an impact on the workout. Like just looking at a naked lady or whatever before you train, there's actually studies on it where it does produce a result. You would probably get a better result from doing that than taking like LR, whatever these testosterone boosting supplements are. Just get you something that works you up and look at it before you lift. There was actually a little while where I experimented with that, and I used it as like part of my pre-workout motivation. This was like, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 years ago. Okay, I'm trying to... Chat's kind of flying by, so I'm scrolled up. I'm in the past a little bit here. Prostate doctor, yeah. Anyway, too much tea is bad. But getting back to levels you used to have is not bad, I'm told. Yeah, exactly. Getting back to a healthy range is not going to hurt you. If your T is so low that you're off the charts, like you're below that low end threshold, then obviously, adding in supplementation is going to be a very good thing. However, just follow what your doctor says. Like with any hormone, this includes taking melatonin to go to bed, your body can become somewhat dependent on that hormone. Like if you supplement melatonin for a long period of time, you're going to have a harder time falling asleep at night when you stop taking the melatonin. Anytime you exogenously boost your hormones, it's gonna throw a bunch of other stuff off. So you got to be real careful. Even when the doctor tells you to do it, you got to be careful. Do your own research. The trouble is you have to keep taking it for the rest of your life. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Yeah, pretty much. I'm not sure how replacement goes. I'm really not sure how any of it goes, but I don't know if you do it in cycles or if they just keep you on there forever. Hey, thanks, Dr. Firefly, for the host. Just now seeing that as I'm scrolling down to the chat. I appreciate that. I'm into fitness, bacon, cheeseburger in my mouth. Yeah, after a good workout. But yeah, nothing wrong with some bacon cheeseburgers as long as you've earned those calories. What's the difference between deadlifts with a trap bar and a straight bar? Honestly, I am a bigger fan of the trap bar deadlift than the straight bar deadlift. You're going to see coaches kind of go both ways on this, but I lean pretty hard into the trap bar deadlift because, one, it's easier for beginners. It's kind of hard to screw it up once you get your hands on the handles. Really, all you got to do is sink your hips down, and you pretty much have good form. You're pretty much locked into it. You're trapped into it with the trap bar. Whereas the straight bar requires a little more coaching. And generally, I'm not saying that straight bar deadlifts are bad for you at all, but they can be more taxing, especially on your lower back. It does cause more stress on your posterior chain, your glutes, your hams, and your back because the weight's in front of you and you kind of have to leverage back in order to lift the weight up. When you're in a trap bar, you're dead center, so there's no like you're perfectly centered in the center of gravity. So your entire trunk, right? So core, from your back to your abs, is being worked pretty evenly with the trap bar, whereas with this barbell, you're behind it, so it's more of a posterior focus lift. So people complain about back pain and stuff like that a lot more with the straight bar than they do with the trap bar. But, if you look into some guys like Mark Ripto is a famous guy who I've actually sparred with a little bit. He hates the trap bar. He thinks it's garbage. And he says his main reason is that because it's an uncoached deadlift. Like anybody could basically pick it up and you don't need any coaching. And it's like, isn't that a good thing? Isn't that an argument for why you should use a trap bar? It's easier to use. The deadlift is very highly technical in general, so I would go with the trap bar over the straight bar, to be honest. And I mostly do trap bar deadlifts aside from like doing rack pulls, which is a deadlift, like a partial range of motion deadlift that you do in a power rack. The Daily Mock pre-workout. Yeah, you don't want to take it that far. It's look but do not touch is if you're trying to get that bang out the extra rep or whatever, if you're trying to get that effect from it, then yeah, it's a look but no touch kind of thing. You're supposed to make yourself sexually frustrated and then go work out to get the full effect. I don't know if that sounds appealing to you. I don't know. All right, also abstinence impact testosterone levels. I've heard contradictory info on that. I am not entirely sure on that. I have also heard things going back and forth. There's the generic, the NoFap argument where exposure to that sort of thing is bad for you psychologically and can actually result in lower performance over time. Because you're basically, when you watch a bunch of stuff like that, you're tricking your brain, because your brain doesn't know whether this woman is on a television screen or a laptop screen or, actually with you in real life. Your brain can't tell the difference. So according to your brain, every time you watch one of these videos, you think like, I am a genetic beast. I am a champion that can attract, all these women, when in reality, you're just watching them on a screen. So it can be harmful psychologically, but I'm not sure about testosterone levels. I'm sure if you're like, just, how do I say this without being too vulgar? I mean, if you're just going like 3, 4 times, 5 times a day, whatever it is, then then you could definitely see an effect. I would think, at least. Like I said, I have not read any hard science. It seems to be a lot of back and forth. My old roommate sworn to cranking out once before I went to the gym. I mean, hey, there you go. There's some anecdotal evidence right there. The clean and jerk. Clean and jerking that snatch. Yeah. All right, question. I'm 43, 130 pounds, have a very active lifestyle, but I can't seem to gain any weight. I'm still the same size I was when I was 19. Well, your calorie balance is off. You're not eating enough food. I know that sounds like a really simple, straightforward answer, Firefly, but that's your problem. You're just not getting enough calories. So I would recommend eating fattier things, since fats per calorie are more dense. You've got 9 calories per gram, 9 units of energy per gram, as opposed to the 4 calories that you get from protein and carbohydrates. So fats are kind of easier to get in, and they're gonna fill you up more. So you can pack in a lot more calories with fatty foods. So things like eggs, if you're buying beef in the grocery store, go for that fattiest cut, like the fattiest ground meat. Go for the fattiest cuts. Maybe work in nuts, peanut butter, things like that are going to be fat dense. Don't mess with the skim milk. Only buy whole milk. That kind of thing. So really, it's your calorie balance is off. I would try to calculate what your maintenance is, how many calories that you're actually taking in and putting out, at any given time and go off of that. So let's say you go to a maintenance calculator, just look up, go to Google or whatever search engine and just look up free diet calorie calculator. Punch in all your numbers and that'll give you a good idea of what your maintenance should be. And then from there, if you want to gain weight, go about 500 calories over your maintenance. But be sure that you're including exercise in that. If you are lifting and you're doing exercise, any amount of activity that you do is going to push up your caloric maintenance. So just be aware that if you're working out really hard, you have to eat, proportionately more food. If you burn 500 calories in a workout, that means you have to eat 500 more calories in your day-to-day eating. So, but Doc, 20 pounds of that is poo. You never poo. Yeah, maybe try some psyllium husk or something. If that's the case, I don't know how well Daily Mock actually knows your pooping habits, but if you find that you're not going, I would recommend some fiber supplementation, something like that. Drop a link. I'm so far up in chat. All right, hold on. I'm gonna try to catch up to you guys. If you wouldn't mind dropping a link, Sunbear or somebody, like I said, free diet calorie calculator. It's the one that I pretty much use on all of my clients on day one. All right, thanks for the follow there, Crappy Rainbows. Sunbear says yes. Scrolling down. Thanks for the follows. Welcome, everyone. Yes, welcome, everyone. It has been a very long time since I've done a stream like this. Yeah, see it's young me. It's me almost 20 years ago. Anywho, all right. Trap bar deadlifts are basically just better, right? In my opinion, absolutely. And there's very few strength coaches or well, maybe not personal trainers, because most gym trainers only know how to work machines pretty much. But most strength coaches are going to recommend the trap bar over the straight bar, depending on your goals. If you're a power lifter and you're trying to get a really big conventional or sumo deadlift, obviously the trap bar isn't really gonna help a whole lot. Unless you're using it as an accessory. You can use the high handles on the trap bar to have a lower range of motion. You can almost use it like a block pull or a rack pull to sort of limit the ROM there. But in my opinion, trap bars are far superior for deadlifts. Maybe not for other lifts, but definitely for deadlifts. The only other argument against it is the fact that it's unstable. This is another Mark Ripto-ism. He says the trap bar deadlift is terribly unstable because when you lock it out, there's nothing stopping it from moving on the sagittal plane, meaning it's just kind of waving in front of you. Technically, I mean, if you've ever locked out a trap bar, it's really not waving around a whole lot, but that instability argument is complete shit, and I'm going to tell you why. 2 words: farmer's walks. Here's another one: rack walks. Here's another one: overhead carries. There's a lot of lifts that are unstable by nature, but it's like controlled instability. It's meant to build up your stabilization muscles to sort of prevent injury. And in my opinion, well, not really in my opinion, I mean, this is in every trainer manual that I've read. Basically, like, instability, when it's controlled and done in the right way, is very good for you in training. So that argument is stupid. If you can find me a good valid argument for why the trap bar is crap compared to the straight bar, throw it in the chat. But I have not found one yet. The thicker bones help lock out the deadlift. The thicker boners? Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you do it with a straight bar, you're gonna have that obstruction. You know what I mean? You might be scraping your john on the way up. So if you got the trap bar, if you're rocking those testosterone supplement, things that we talked about, then, maybe the trap bar will give you more clearance. Good one there, Sunbear. It's like a shelf to rest the weight on. I mean, I don't want to discuss. Let's not do that. Help with the deadlift. Yeah, the trap bar, like I said, it can be used as an accessory for the deadlift if you're using the high handle trap bar and you're programming it the right way. technically it could, but I have never personally come across a powerlifter that supplements trap bar deadlifts with their conventional, whatever their competition lift is. I certainly didn't. Okay, am I still live? My screen just went out here. Okay, I'm clapping all these cheeks. Good one. Is testosterone therapy safe? Take a breath before you take the plunge. Yeah, and you know, like what Jupiter just posted there, you know, do your homework. Just find out if you think it's right for you. And if you do, then feel free to take it. And obviously, you know, get a recommendation from a doctor. Get your blood work done, and actually see what your testosterone is at before you get crazy with supplementing. I guess it looks like I'm still alive. For some reason, Restream just winked out, so I don't know. Looks like I'm still up though. Let's see. Thing that's cool and annoying about the human body, what works for him won't work for me, and that's true. I mean, there's a lot of lifts. A lot of strength coaches, for example, I am a firm believer that the strict overhead press is one of the best upper body movements that there is, period. And there's some anatomies that people are born with that suck for overhead press, and actually it can create a lot of problems. So a lot of lifts are sort of anatomically dependent. If you don't have the right anatomy for certain lifts, you just can't even really do them effectively. So I come across a lot of people where the overhead press is like a no. It kills my shoulders, and there's nothing you can do. You can't show them a better form. You know, it's just their anatomy is not going to allow for that lift, which sucks because it is, like I said, it is my favorite upper body lift. I firmly believe it's the best one out there. Yes, everything's pretty subjective. Snatch is better than clean and jerk. You know, depends on what you're into, I guess. Great movie. Yeah, Snatch is pretty good, right? We all like Degs here. Skim milk. Yes, avoid the skim milk. Like I said, I'm catching up, so I'm way far behind here. I love eating fat. I lost 62 pounds over the past year. Good job. Very good. I assume maybe you're doing some kind of keto diet or some kind of like low carb thing where you're emphasizing fat more. That's obviously reference to Doc Firefly's thing, though. Yeah. Find out your caloric maintenance, eat more than it, and if you're having a hard time, you know, either find things that are more fatty dense or even things that you can drink, you know, a protein shake. You get enough calories in there, you can bang out, you know, 500 calories, and really all you got to do is drink it. So if that's a problem, you can do it that way. I always recommend putting chia seeds in there too, because the chia seeds, you know, they go in there, they're really tiny, but they kind of expand to many orders of magnitude sizes bigger. So if you get a bunch of chia seeds in your stomach, they're going to kind of open it up and create a little more room in there. That's a tactic I used to use when I used to cut for competition. I do a water cut for a week, and then during my replenishment, a key thing that I would do is throw in a bunch of chia seeds on top of a bunch of other things, of course, replenishing electrolytes and all that stuff too. That's hilarious. Firefly, the Molly sticker. Rachel showed me that yesterday. Absolutely amazing. January 2021, I was 225 pounds. I'm down to 160. Yeah, man, that is really awesome. So, what are you trying to do now that you've lost all that weight? Lord Kaltenberg, living in a vegan household while not being vegan myself. How do I survive? Well, Lord Kaltenberg, you're just going to have to buy your own meat, I guess. That's really the only thing I could recommend. Just kind of have your own sort of allowance to buy your own meat. That sucks. I mean, vegetarian, you could work with it because they're still drinking milk and eating eggs, but vegan's a little harsh. Yeah, I would just try to supplement as much meat as you can. If you're on a tight budget, I don't know. I think, Lord Kaltenberg, you're either in Sweden or Norway. I know you're in one of those countries up there, but yeah, if you can, you know, buy some eggs, get like an 18 pack every week and just, start adding in eggs into your diet on the side. So yeah, find ways to sneak meat in the house. Doc made it known his poo habits. Oh, well, he's very, very open with his poo habits. That's cool. Firefly did post a little while ago the calorie calculator that I was talking about, the free dieting one. So if you're trying to figure out what your maintenance is at, click on that link that he posted. And yeah, that's a pretty good website there. Is the upright row a good exercise? I used to like doing it, but apparently it's bad. I agree. I think the upright row is a trash exercise. And the only reason why is the stress that it puts on your wrist, right? So if you're using a straight bar or an easy bar, or maybe with an easy bar, you might be able to do it a little bit better. But with a straight bar, you've got this really weird angle on your wrist here that just, you'll know what I mean if you do upright rows with a barbell. Like, it will kill your wrists over time. So, yes, it's bad. But can it be used? Yes, it can be used with a kettlebell. With a kettlebell, you have a sort of the top, the handle part, the horns, is rounded off. So instead of having your hands perpendicular to the floor like this, where it's going to bend your wrists a whole bunch, you can have more of a neutral grip, right? So you can grab from the sort of the corners of the horns and do an upright row that way, where your wrists are more neutral. So the reason why people say it's bad or trash is the stress that it puts on your wrist. So using it with a kettlebell, I found, does not really put any stress on your wrist. So yes. All right. Question. I have Lyme disease. Ooh. And it's hard to push my muscles to build because of pains. Anything I can do to tone other than constant reps? Man, Lyme disease. I'm going to be honest, and this is just, the way I am. I have no idea how to answer that question, so I'm not even going to try. I don't want to give you bad advice. I don't know anything about Lyme disease other than its origin story. But yeah, I would recommend kind of looking into that on your own, and be really careful. Like I said, I don't know enough about Lyme disease to really give you a solid recommendation there. Eat the neighbor's pets. I will eat my neighbors. We got a Ric Flair woo. Very cool. Traps bars. Trap S bars. No, we're talking about trap bars. I don't know what reference that was, but Some Bear said, yes, I'm live about 9 minutes ago. Like I said, I'm still behind a little bit. Don't go in those bars or something. I like the trap. Okay, get it. I like trap bars and trap music. Yeah, trap was okay. It was all right in like 2011, 2012, in my opinion. It just got really, the dubstep trap, that whole EDM explosion that happened during that time was kind of neat to listen to for a while, but it got old pretty quick. How many extra calories a day should a skinny guy eat? How much protein? So generally, if you're in a bulking phase, I recommend going 500 calories over your maintenance. Okay, so if you go to free diet, you plug in all your numbers, and it's saying your maintenance is 2100. I would aim for 2600 a day, regardless of if you're training or not, because that's sort of a weekly aggregate that it comes with, that it calculates. So aim for that 2600 or whatever your threshold is for gaining weight. As far as protein, the rule of thumb is 1 gram per pound of body weight, right? So if you're 200 pounds, and this is especially if you're trying to pack on muscle specifically, because it's really easy to gain weight. You just eat a bunch of food. But if you're eating a bunch of crap, it's going to make your body look like crap. You're just going to put on a bunch of fat. So if you're trying to put on muscle, you do want to have a nice amount of protein. And generally people say 1 gram per pound of body weight. I've heard 0.75 grams per pound of body weight. Jay Cutler, who's a famous bodybuilder, he says 2 grams per pound of body weight. Arnold Schwarzenegger said 1 pound per body weight. So a lot of different opinions there. Of course, protein, when you consume it in high quantities, is going to be taxing on your liver, and you're going to end up with a lot of nasty byproducts because of the nitrate group that's in protein. So just, I personally, short, I guess, to sum it up, I would say 1 pound per body weight is 1 gram per pound of body weight is your safest bet. I've had the most success, with that formula there. I think anything more than that is excessive, and it's going to put too much stress on your liver. You have to be careful with how much protein you're consuming